Yo. What's good, my people? Wow. Yeah, man, welcome back to episode 4 of WesternTalks with your boy ASP. Man, wow, we're moving. Can't lie, yeah, the episodes are rolling out. Everything's going well. But yeah, man, I got a good friend of mine over here. You know, when I first introduced this podcast, there's cars, I'm not bad. But when I first introduced this podcast, my good friend over here, he reached out to me and he gave me a great idea to talk about for him to come onto this podcast. And I said, why not, bro? Why not? I feel like that's my main thing on life is why not? Why not bring in this person? Why not?
Well, you only live once.
Exactly, man. Why not share these stories? And but yeah, man. Without further ado, it's your boy Matt Ruff.
Hello, my people. How are we?
How are you, boss? You good?
How you good?
Fine, man. Wow, Matt Ruff.
There we
Ruff,
go.
man. I missed you, bro.
There we go. It's been a while.
It's been a good minute because when was the last time the party? Yeah.
Yeah, Tarek's party.
Tarek and Sam, shout out to you, my brother. But yeah, man. Wow.
Before I get into this, I
yeah.
do want to say, like, this whole thing, like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, that's lovely.
Like, I always knew.
Yeah.
Like, even some of the boys at school, we were like, you're gonna do something in the entertainment industry.
Wow.
Like, well,
yeah.
we knew it because you do all sorts of stuff. You do the modelling, you do the acting, you do all that
Wow.
stuff.
Yeah. No.
So we knew you were going down something like this, and now you're doing this. It's like, yeah, it's coming true, you know. So
wow. Yeah. No, man. I appreciate that for real. Yeah, man. No. Yeah. When I signed out this podcast, how I said how Lockett knows on the last episode. Yeah, I didn't really tell anyone about this. It was more on the low-key side. I didn't want to, how would you say, I didn't want to, yeah, there's a car, fuck, you know, man. This is the troubles in the garage. But yeah, I didn't want to tell people about what I was doing when I haven't even done anything in the first place, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to like kind of keep on the low-key. I wanted to basically do the work. Once it's out, then, you know, advertise it, all that. Yeah. But yeah, man, you're currently working on something. I've been hearing from yourself.
Yeah, it's I was years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was really into the whole, you know, YouTube and getting involved in all that sort of stuff. And then I was a streamer for a bit, and I actually did pretty well. I was actually making some money through that, but not, you know.
Streamer?
Yeah.
Swear. What games were you playing?
Oh, at the time it was mainly like the the remake of the Modern Warfare series.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A lot of Rocket League, Fortnite, like Prime Fortnite.
Oh yeah, Prime, not now, not 2023.
Like Prime Fortnite for me was like the pinnacle of gaming history for me. Like that not only did it make me good money because I was getting people in, but just the amount of fun you'd have. Like I'm not going to get that experience again.
Bro, what made me laugh there was when you said streaming, bro, like having fun as well. Your talks on stream, not on stream, maybe on PlayStation chat would be amazing with you. That's what brings in the entertainment. That's what I love about you.
But this is the thing. It's like for me, like I'm not a good player at the majority of the games I play.
Exactly.
Right? But it's like people like, you know, you got people like Tim the Tap Man and stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the people only watch them for him. They don't watch for the content because the content he can't play anything to save his life, you know. But you know, he's funny as fuck.
Yeah,
so it's like
that's what makes me think of you. Yeah.
But yeah, I've a lot of the feedback I used to get, and this was when I was like 14, 15 sort of thing. I was the same person 4 years ago as I am now. You know? So it was all the same thing. It's like we don't watch to see you get battered in Fortnite. We watch to see how you react when you get killed. You know, I'm like the Australian version of Angry Ginge sort of thing, you know? So it's like but yeah, I used to love it, bro. It was just, I think for me it was like everything, like with school, and at the time I was like really knuckling down on sport and stuff. I was just like, I can't devote as much time and energy as I wanted to that when I've got all this other shit to sort of figure out, you know.
But it's smart how you say about with streaming in general that like people look at the creator, like the person that's playing the game more than the game, and so.
Well, that's how you build a community.
That is 100% true because but at the same time, not a lot of people think like that.
No,
like, people think like
you got to be the best player
at the
exactly.
game, yeah.
And it's like you might be the best, but if you sit on your ass for 20 hours a day and don't talk to anyone, you're not going to have the communication skills to talk to people in chat.
See, exactly, and that's why people move ahead in this whole competition. 100%, yeah. But now I respect that, bro, for real.
But yeah, I'm starting back, but I'm doing a complete rebrand. I was a different name, I was a different everything back in the day.
Different person,
just completely different identity altogether.
Yeah, okay, crazy,
But, you know, I look at YouTube nowadays, and even over the past sort of 2-3 years, the amount of traction that I think Australian content creators are getting a lot more notice now than what they were a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Because especially in the Australian scene, like you go on YouTube in Australia, you've got American stuff and you've got UK stuff.
Okay.
There is like there was no Australian shit other than maybe like the Fortnite creators from Australia, like Laserbeam and all that sort of stuff.
I get you. Yeah.
There wasn't much else, you know.
Yeah.
But now I look at YouTube and there's people doing IRL videos from from Western Sydney. You've got people from, you know, like Spanian, for example, down in the city. He's doing all his stuff. Like the Australian scene's really picking up. So I thought, fuck it, let's see if I can do something with this. Whether it works or not is.
But at least you try, bro.
Oh yeah.
But no, that's what the thing, bro. Like you're still starting out. Like you have a long way to go. So.
And it's also it's just a thing I enjoy. Like if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like for me, it's like I'll do it, see how it goes, and I'm not expecting success overnight. I don't think anyone is expecting that. But
everyone will want it.
Oh, everyone wants it, of course. If I uploaded a video yesterday and got 7 million views this morning, I'd be like,
I want that, man.
But you know, it's like the likelihood of that happening is like
it's very
0. bloody,
you know.
So it's like for me, it's like, you know, it's something I enjoy doing, and it's like, you know.
So if I was to ask you, what do you like? What's like your plan with the whole like? What are you trying to do?
So, video wise, I've got 3 going on 4 channels.
Oh, wow.
But when this comes out, I should have. I think 3 out of the 4 channels will have at least 5 videos on it.
So
at least.
So which channel represents?
So my main channel is basically. I wouldn't say higher production value because I'm not spending a lot of money on it, but you know, that sort of thing, like in real life videos, that sort of thing, you know.
Or like reacting?
No, like you know how the Sidemen and shit do stuff like in person, they do like all that sort of stuff. So I've got like GoPros and stuff.
Oh yeah? Oh, is that what you? I swear.
So
And what's the name for everyone to?
So my main channel's name is Ruff Rider. It's RUFF, one word, RUFF RIDER.
Ruff Rider, easy.
And then, because obviously my last name's Ruff, so I thought.
And it's iconic, brother.
And when I used to play sport, my nickname was Ruff Rider.
Ruff.
So,
okay.
So I'm like.
You used to ride a ball, No, cool.
So I was like, why not? It's not like I've just picked a name out of my ass. Like
this it came from somewhere.
And I'm like,
no,
it actually suits like quite well. So it's like, why didn't I think of this before? I didn't have to do a whole rebrand if I thought of this 4 years ago. You know. But then sort of the second channel is like, sort of like the more gaming sort of side of things.
Okay, yes, gaming side,
And then I've got my VODs channel, which is like my actual streams, just
Okay,
straight
streaming,
on there.
Yeah.
And then my fourth channel is like a reacts channel. So
Reacts channel, yeah, those do well. I can't lie.
One of my mates, it was actually crazy. One of my mates reacted to one of 1-4 songs when like the day it came out.
Okay.
I think it was Commas or something, like the most recent one.
Yeah.
He was actually doing pretty well before that. He was getting sort of like 2,500 to like 4,000 views a video.
Shit, yeah,
this reaction video popped off. He got like 96,000 views.
Shit.
And he gained something like, I think it was like 24,000 subscribers in that, from that one video.
Yeah, that's so.
So I'm like, and the thing with him was that he wasn't. I don't like watching a reaction video, and it's from like an actual musical artist, for example, and then they're just nitpicking it. I want to be able to react to something. And it's like, if that's a cold bar, that's a cold bar. Instead of saying like, oh, your pitch is too high, or any of that shit.
Okay,
I
so
don't
you don't
want to be
like
nitpicking it.
Too political type.
Yeah, it's like, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I won't listen to it again.
100%, yeah.
And some, like, the videos I've recorded and are out now, I can't name one that I haven't, like, seriously enjoyed. And most of them come from other people, like either in the comments or like through Instagram and stuff, saying like, you need to react to this because this shit fucking slaps. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, they're completely correct. Yeah. So it's like, and with me, like, my music taste is so broad. You go from the Beatles to fucking A$AP Rocky, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So
I can't lie, yeah. So I have a kind of broad like taste in that as well. Like,
so like for me, I can understand all sorts of types of music.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's good music, it's good music.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that mentality because a lot, there's too much these days. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, a lot of reactions these days are like, oh, it's not my type of thing, so I don't like it. I'm like, well, that's fair enough. Like for me, opera. I can understand the skill it takes to perform it.
Okay, yeah.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But I have recognition for how talented you have to be able to be good in it, 100%, right?
Yeah.
But it's just not my thing, right? Whereas
that's a good mentality to have, bro. I can't lie.
Everything else, like that is probably the one genre that I just can't. Get on,
you can't,
right? Because it is hard because it's the old Italian stuff and you know, but everything else I have a real respect for because.
Yeah.
I used to do music fucking 10 years ago. And I've always just been a massive music head. Yeah. Right? So it's like seeing, especially nowadays with all like the beats and stuff that rappers do and stuff and like the producers and stuff, some of that shit's crazy. Like the stuff that they can do on a computer is absolutely insane.
And what I have realized recently is that there are a lot of musicians out there that's like very underrated, not recognized. And it's actually outrageous, bro, because they have bars, they have tracks, and it's amazing.
Sean Pocker. Have you listened to that song?
Sean Pocker, my brother. Hope you're watching this one.
I've done a reaction video on him. On that video, because before I done that reaction video, I hadn't seen the video. I just listened to the song on Spotify. Yeah. Right. And have you seen the video?
Yeah.
When he first walks in to the house, and
someone shout right there.
When he first walks into the house and he's got the his try at the Hill Sports, like on the TV, he's got it playing. Bro, and I was like, big up the Hill Sports, bro. I was like, that's crazy that out of everything in your life, like that was the one thing you wanted to put in that video, and I'm like, because it was a big deal for him and for the school. So it's like, that song hits so hard, bro.
But I can't lie, but I rate him, bro. Like he's out there, he's doing his thing, and not a lot of people are doing that. Like, and I
was so gassed when I watched the video because I was like, not even 12 months ago, this guy was in my fucking math class. Yeah. And now he's doing this shit, and I'm like, that's mental, and it's so good as well. Like for his first song, like. It's pretty good.
Yeah, first one as well, because I was at Pass the Mic, the first one. You know Pass the Mic? It's like they bring in like it's like this group that
it was all over his Instagram, wasn't it?
Yeah, like they organize how do you say it, like a platform where all these young artists come in, basically underrated ones, and yeah, let them have their spotlight, get the music, and Sean was a. But yeah, shout out to you. But hope you come on the podcast soon. Yeah.
Right.
But
it's so cold. I was like, for his first song, he
done well,
smashed it.
100%. Yeah, he done well, and I respect it, bro. But yeah, that's good. But also with you, man, I wish you best of luck in your thing.
Thanks, man. Well, I can't say this not doing well. Like, bro.
I feel like me. You know what my mentality is I'm always expecting the worst. So I don't want to expect the best.
And then be disappointed afterwards.
Yeah, I want to expect the worst, and I am expecting the worst, and I'm very grateful for whatever is to come. Even this 1 viewer, 2 viewers, I don't mind, bro. There's someone watching out there. That's all love.
For me, and like streaming, like back in the day, for example, if I was getting 2-3 viewers, it's 2 or 3 more than I started with.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how I do it. And you go 2 or 3 viewers, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy's really funny," and then it goes to 5 or 6, and then it just goes from there.
Exactly, and there's a lot of people out there that like they see this 1 or 2, this 1 or 2 progress,
and think it's not worth it,
and it's not worth it, and they stop it. But like they have to, you have to be grateful for those little achievements, because like with me, I'm very fortunate that I know a lot of people, and with this podcast, like when I first introduced it, probably over 100 followers already.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
And bro, it's amazing, bro. Like,
I saw it.
It's all love, bro. Like,
it was like the day after you made the account or something, and it had like 110.
Yeah, I was very
followers.
I was grateful, bro.
That's crazy. I'm like, Jesus, like you've got some traction already. You haven't even uploaded anything.
Crazy, yeah. Nah,
but now you're what, 3 or 4 videos down, and
yeah. Nah, man. Nah, but yeah, honestly, it's all love, bro. So I can't lie, it's all love. But yeah, man, I want to move on to this this next topic where, like, school. How do us to know each other? It was obviously from school.
Yes. We went to. I won't say the name of the school because you never know what goes on. But we went to school together.
Yeah.
You were there since year 7, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So I joined at the start of year 9.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought you were there since year 7.
No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No. I came from a Christian school before that.
Okay, yeah.
And it was. I'm not going to bag them out, but it wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
If you know who I am and you know where I'm from, then you know what school.
Yeah, exactly. So all of his Christian mouth, nothing.
Don't start bagging schools out that aren't mine, But yeah, school.
Oh, that's wrongly bad. Yeah.
I actually think school wasn't that bad.
Okay. I want to ask you this question. Yeah. Now, because obviously we finished school, do you miss school?
100%.
Yeah.
Bro, I went to the school's baseball state final in September or whenever it was.
Yeah.
And all the boys, like the current year 12s that have just graduated and stuff.
Yeah.
And all the younger guys, like the year 12s were like, "Oh, I can't wait to leave," and whatever. I'm like, yeah, you say that.
Yeah.
Wait until next year, and you're like, "Oh fuck, I wish I was still at school."
Yeah.
Because you've got no responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like realistically, you go to school for 6 hours a day. You're with your friends.
Yeah.
Like we used to bag school all the time, but it was actually probably one of the greatest times in our life, really.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's like it's one of the most, like realistically, it's one of the most chill sort of things you'd really ever have to do.
Yeah. I feel like when you're in the moment, a lot of people. No, it's not even like it is hated, but a lot of people take it for granted. Like, you know how you're saying, like, you're with your mates for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like I could say personally for myself, I probably did take that for a little bit for granted.
100%.
And like when you're in the moment, you don't think of like how you say you don't think of like I'm gonna enjoy my moment like with my friends and all that. Obviously, there's some moments here and there where you do enjoy it, but you're more worried about school in general. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like the present, and exams, like, and it's too much stress. Bro.
And then when you graduate, and then 2 months later, you're like, fuck, when am I gonna see these guys again?
Yeah.
And that was my biggest thing. I was like, I'm grateful that. Because I know a lot of people that don't talk to people after school. Yeah. They just completely cut off and start new. Yeah. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm too close with these guys.
Exactly. Your friend group is amazing. But like even me, I'm friends with the majority of them, And yeah, bro, it's a good friend.
It's like, I was really fortunate to know a few of them prior to me going to school.
Yeah.
Like, I knew Jaden, I knew Jesse, and I knew Riley.
Shout out to you guys, yeah.
Right? Because we went to, like, primary, like, fucking years ago together.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I was like, so it's like, I know them, and if they know these other guys, and they're good mates with them, then they can't be too bad.
Okay, yeah.
And so that's when I introduced myself, and then fucking a month later, I'm like best mates with them.
Yeah.
And then it's been like that for 5 years now.
That's actually so good, bro. And see, you have that side of school, but you see, when people ask me that question, do I miss school? For me, I'll be real, bro. I don't think I actually miss it. Like, obviously.
Well, there are parts that I miss. There are parts that I don't.
Of course, yeah, that's with everyone. But with me, I feel like, like obviously the friends bit, yeah, everyone misses that. You know, having that fun time. You know, just
fucking around.
Yeah, fucking around bad, like in classrooms, all that. But then, like, when I deep it, it's like, would I go back again now? I wouldn't. Like, I enjoy myself right now. Like,
if I was in today's life that I'm living, would I go back to school tomorrow? No.
Yeah.
Would I, if prior to graduating, if I knew that sort of life was going to progress the way it has, would I have been more grateful for the time at school I had?
Wow, yeah.
Right?
Wow, yeah.
Because, especially, we'll get into it later, but especially in year 12, I missed a lot of school, you know?
Yeah.
So, for me, it's like, I sort of halfway through that journey, I was like, I've got to sort of start taking stuff for face value and start, you know, being thankful for what I actually have.
Yeah.
You know? I am actually able to get an education, right?
Yeah, wow.
I have a roof over my head. Like, during that time, I was really like thankful for, like, it's like if I was an American, I would be the greatest Thanksgiving person ever. Because it's like, I'm just like, I'm thankful for this and this and this and this. And,
wow, yeah. Nah, man, that's honestly respect. But yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, but
there are that's how. Oh yeah, sorry to cut you off, but it is true. Like there are moments where there's a lot of moments in everyone's life where have the drink, bro.
I'll come back to it. It's fine.
But yeah, you can have it whenever you want. But yeah, there's always those moments in life where that everyone goes through, that where it just changes their whole perspective on life, or you start to take shit more seriously.
And I think it's also like with the majority of people, with age comes maturity. Yeah. Right. I wasn't this mature when I was 10.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah. But then again, some people they're 30 and they still act like idiots.
Yeah.
So it's like,
exactly.
You know, like I'd like to think that with age comes maturity, but it doesn't happen for everyone.
I feel like it's the experience that you go through.
Yeah, it's all personal shit.
100%, because I even know some younger kids, bro, younger than me, and they're fucking mature, but like they're messed up mature.
I was about to say they've gone through some
shit.
They've
gone through shit. Yeah, that's the exact thing. They've gone through a lot of shit to be how they are. But yeah, man. So you were talking about baseball, yeah?
Yes.
You went state what was it, state for school?
Yeah.
And baseball, bro. So talk about, so was that your sport? Was that what you're doing?
My whole sporting journey, I started at soccer, and I did that for 7 years. I went from like under 5s to like under 13s sort of thing, right? And then but I was playing in like 2 age groups above. So I was
you're the boss then. Yeah.
Well, at the time I was actually like in really like seriously good shape.
Yeah.
So for me, I was a winger, right? I just run up and down the field. I was like speed in the charity match, just up and down, fucking every ball, just up and down the field, right? Yeah. But then, like and then I moved to tennis, right?
Okay.
And I did tennis, but I was doing soccer and tennis at the same time.
Shit, yeah.
So I was doing soccer like first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And then tennis sort of mid-afternoon sort of thing.
Fit man, yeah.
And then I could have seen myself, if I actually committed myself,
Mm.
I could have had a career in tennis.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was worth dropping everything for, because I liked it, but I didn't love it. And
Okay.
I was fucking good at it.
That's respect then, yeah.
But I didn't want to completely focus on something that I wasn't 100% committed to.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's 100% true.
And then baseball came along, and then as soon as I started that, I just completely fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Like, for
How old were you when you started?
so I started when I was 11. I was playing under 14s at that stage, and
11, 14s.
well, because in baseball they don't do every age group. They do 10s, 13s, no 10s, 14s, 16s, and 18s.
Oh, okay.
So, like, for example, if you're
But you must have been good enough to play at 11 years old to play under 14s at that time. Because why wouldn't they choose the 14 players? You know what I'm saying?
well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
not
yeah,
gonna say.
man. Yeah,
I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
I'm the
yeah.
next Babe Ruth. But no,
Yeah.
I was all right for my age,
Okay.
and the thing that really helped me was my size, right?
Yeah,
I was massive.
yeah.
So, you know, at 11, I was like 5'9", 5'10".
So swear, at 11?
I have basically not grown in.
Nah, but you, how tall are you now? You're pretty tall right now,
I'm
like
6'2",
6'2",
6'2" and a bit.
6'2" and a bit fire. And
So I've only grown, what, let's say 4.5 inches in 7 years. But I was always just a massive kid. So playing something like baseball where it's all power, you get onto a ball, it's fucking going 600 feet that way.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like, for me, I think whether it was my actual ability or the fact that I would intimidate the opposition by my size, I got picked for a lot of representative teams.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was that good, like,
Yeah.
compared to some of the other people that were in the
Yeah.
team. But then, I think all throughout my playing career of anything, I've always been able to play my best at the highest level. Like, when
Yeah.
I play at club, for example, I don't take it as seriously as like some people, as
Some
other
people
people,
too.
because I'm like, it is sort of it's a pretty poor mentality to have. But this was years ago. This was when I
Yeah.
didn't actually have a brain. But it's like, you know, this is only club,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's not. And nowadays, I look back on that and I'm like, that's not how shit works.
Yeah.
Like, you work hard at club so you can get into the rep, and then you
Yeah.
can get further up and further
Yeah.
up. You know, like, it's a stepping ladder to it.
Yeah.
But at the time, because I was getting picked for these rep teams, I was like, oh, club's club. You know,
Oh, okay.
looking back on it, I'm like, club baseball is what made me the player I am. Rep didn't train me or teach me anything. We were just playing games, right? Whereas the club stuff,
That's where you built the foundation.
I built the foundation of where I was at my best, you know. So
100%, yeah.
but yeah, that was baseball for me. Like, I probably played it for the first 2 or 3 weeks and then just completely fell in love with it.
Wow.
I saw one of my mates,
That's very,
well,
yeah.
ex-mates, but I saw him play in America on TV,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, this seems so fun.
Yeah.
And because I'd never actually thought of it as a sport in Australia. Like, you don't think of baseball as an Australian sort of sport. you
Yeah.
know? And then I sort of go around looking for places, and I'm like, it's actually a much bigger scene in Australia than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, the Hills District has always been like the national champions. It's either them or like places like Cronulla.
Yeah.
Like, where we just build a good, solid structure for people to come up, right?
100%, yeah.
And so I think, and I was blessed for the club I went to.
Yeah.
I went to, shout out to Castleville Knights, because they literally got me to where I was. I went from playing for New South Wales, I then ended up playing for Australia and Japan,
Swear.
and then I played for Australia and America.
Swear.
And
Matt Ruff.
bro,
Yeah.
these guys, like, literally single-handedly fucking made me an Australian representative.
So this Castleville Knights. Are they club team or reps?
Yeah, so their club,
Also, they're not reps. It's wow, and
that was the first club I ever played for.
Yeah.
And it was the last. It was the only club I ever played for other than this. But this was a rep thing. This wasn't, you know.
Oh, so wait, did you play reps?
I did, but like an actual.
More.
Yeah, it's like for me when I talk about like actual clubs, I'm talking, because reps in baseball is basically state and international level. Like there's no, it's not like soccer where it's like you know Marconi. Like there's no like the NPL sort of stuff.
Oh, it's not like that.
Nah, it's like you
just go like it's just like the next level.
For the young, like basically for under 18s and below, it's club, sort of regional sort of stuff, then state, then international.
And that's considered as reps.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So stuff like, you know, you got like Marconi and all that sort of stuff in NPL, that doesn't exist in baseball.
Okay,
Whereas like you go into the actual professional side of things, and there are professional baseball teams in Australia. Like you've got the Sydney Blue Sox in Rudy Hill, you've got Brisbane, like nearly every capital city in the country has a baseball team.
Oh, okay.
And they're like proper professionals. Like they'd come over from the States and
play.
Right. But obviously, I wasn't at the age where I could even try out for that sort of stuff. So yeah, these were sort of my highest sort of achievement.
Let's show the people a bit. So talk to us about this bit.
So this was one of my jerseys that we played for. That we played in America for.
Yeah.
It's got my name and my number on the back.
Ruff. 45. Is there a reason for that?
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, you just
when I was a kid,
I
looked at the number 45, and I don't know why. I just liked it.
And
then forever on, it's just been my number.
Wow. Yeah.
And so,
so what? This is the Australian team.
It was an Australian team.
Oh, okay. And you went to America?
Yeah, we went to Orange County in Los Angeles.
Wow, yeah.
Japan was probably the better experience for me, if I was to be honest, just because it was a complete culture shock.
Okay, wait, so how old were you when this happened?
I was 14 when I went
14?
And I was 12 when I went to Japan.
14? What the... That's very good, bro. And I guess, so obviously this part of sides,
So, in Japan, that for me, I think it was more of a personal development sort of time. Like, not necessarily for baseball, but just me as a person. Because it was the first time I went away, really, without my family. So, it was a big sort of maturity.
12 years old, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a young age, huh?
So, this was a ball I hit in the semi-final, and I hit a home run.
Home run, big man team,
it was actually the first home run I'd ever hit, and it was in the semi-final of an Asian championship.
Yeah, in Japan.
And
wow.
I think, and the thing was, which I think for me, Japan was such a culture shock. Like it's completely different to Australia, right? And you know, I've travelled a lot of the world, but I haven't experienced a culture anything like Japan before. Because when we were over there, I had to stay with one of the Japanese kids that we were playing against. I had to stay in his place.
Okay.
So we didn't have hotels or something. We got billeted into people's families and stuff, right?
Shit. Yeah.
It was so cool. Yeah. Like seriously, it was the best experience. I was 12.
Yeah.
And like I can literally, for every day, I can recount from when I woke up to when I went to bed every day for 2.5 weeks exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Like it's so stuck in my brain. Yeah. It is the greatest.
Nah, that's actually so good, bro. Wow.
But I loved it over there. If like it is probably one of the places in the world where I think anyone that has been would recommend, because it is just like, obviously I went to Osaka and Tokyo, which are, except for like maybe Nagasaki, are like the two biggest places, right? So for me, I was more in the urban sort of side of things.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you go, it's like any place, I guess. Once you go out into like the backside of the suburbs and stuff, it gets a little bit more rough. And,
Okay, yeah.
But I was
like most places. Yeah.
I was really in the metropolitan area
Yeah.
while I was down there. But some of the tech, like they were using robots. Like this was 6 years ago. Let's not forget.
Okay,
You know?
yeah. So it's a whole.
So I was like-
so now it'll be
Like we barely had waiters who could wait food in Australia. Now these guys have robots.
Yeah,
You know?
good. Yeah.
And I was,
That's jokes, man.
you know,
yeah.
for a 12-year-old kid
To experience that, yeah.
who hasn't because before that I hadn't really gone to an Asian country.
Yeah.
Mine's all been in Europe and America.
Wow.
Right? So to go to an Asian country and they're so, like their whole culture is based off just generosity and
Yeah.
just cleanliness and
Yeah.
like
Nah, that's good though.
like and just rituals.
yeah.
Like they pray, whatever they do, they do all sorts of shit before they eat, and
Yeah.
they do all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, this is really, really cool.
Nice.
And it's the discipline that normal Australians don't have,
Yeah.
and I think that's a lot of Asian countries is they're so disciplined with what they do, whether it's cultural, religious, sport, whatever.
Yeah.
They're so committed to whatever they're doing
yeah.
that they devote their life to it.
Yeah.
Whereas Australia,
Yeah.
unless you're
It's different
in the
world, yeah.
1% or not even 0.5% of people who are committed to achieve something, and then you will do anything to do it.
Yeah.
Most other people just don't give a
They
shit.
don't give a shit.
Like
yeah.
they'll do it for fun, but they won't actually commit themselves
yeah.
to want to do
and
it.
they say
properly.
that themselves. Yeah. Oh wow, bro. So what was that for, like? What was this for Australia as well?
Yeah. So this was we were classed as the Australian team,
Yeah.
but our actual name was Sydney, right?
Yeah.
But
Sorry, my people. Just a little disturbance. Just like every other episode. But yeah, man, you're talking about Sydney. They used to
yeah, so
represent.
basically for the Japan tour,
Yeah.
it was basically a team formed in Sydney,
Yeah.
but because we were the only Australian team to go,
Yeah.
and like there were like actual international teams going to this tournament,
Yeah. Yeah.
we were known as the Australian team,
Yeah.
right? Whether we were actually an Australian team or not is up for debate.
Okay.
But,
So
you know,
yeah, but they just
they called us an Australian
Australian
team.
but you're like from Sydney.
Yeah, so
No, that's calm.
this was the first proper Australian thing.
Yeah.
So
Swear, bro. Nah, but for real, bro, that's actually like a major congratulations for you, bro.
thank you.
And what's happening now with baseball? Like, are you still going at it, or what's?
So what year is it? 2023. So it was March last year was my last season, like of club.
Fucking hell, yeah. It's a little flush, yeah. Something like that. Oh yeah.
So like March last year was my last season at club level,
Yeah.
and then I ended up versing Jaden in the grand final.
Jaden who?
Brian.
So swear.
Yeah, and then we lost.
Jaden Brian, shout out to you, brother.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still filthy about that loss, to be honest. But anyway.
Jaden Brian. Oh, he played baseball.
Yeah,
Oh.
played longer than I did. He
Shit.
played since he was like 5.
What is it? A footballer.
Well, he was,
Oh.
but
But yeah.
you know he's in the coppers now,
What's that?
like police force.
Oh yeah. Oh.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
that's good.
good
though, huh?
on him.
It's
Like,
good, yeah.
We need more people like him in the cop force. But yeah, so that was my last
Wow.
actual baseball
Season.
game,
Yeah.
season was like that grand final, and we had all the 10S people come.
Oh yeah.
So
school,
we had we had Jack, Josh,
Yeah.
Tarek didn't go, Jesse, Malik,
Yeah. Shout out to
the
those
girls
people.
like Alicia
Oh,
and
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Alana and all those people. And yeah, we were up going into like the back end of the game.
Yeah.
And then we had a pitcher who must have just fallen under the pressure or something, and just he basically, not saying names or anything, but he basically he threw away the game.
Shit,
really.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
And like I completely, you know, I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Like it was a big thing, right? But you know, shit happens, you know. But yeah, and that was at the time I had my whole family there. Jaden had his whole family there. We had the kids from 10S. I had my girlfriend there at the time.
Wow.
I was like, and we were up as well, and I was like, fuck, we're gonna win this, and I'm gonna be able to celebrate, whatever. And then we lose, and then I'm like, fuck. I was like, this was my one chance to really shove it up Jaden's ass, and we fucking lose. I'm like, God damn it.
Fuck man, Jaden Wayne, bro. What are you doing, bro? Let him win.
But he was the same thing as well. He was finishing up baseball at the same time.
So what made you like stop baseball? It was just a personal choice?
At the time,
because obviously you were doing well with everything.
It was, I think, the fact that I was not doing well in school, and I really had to pick my game up. And it got to the point, like after that season, I had to play under 18s, and it got to the point where the only team that I would be able to play for would be out in Penrith.
So people, just
another disturbance.
Far out, mate. This water pipe is doing too much now. But yeah, man. If you don't mind sharing, what there was some moments earlier in this episode where you mentioned there was some personal issues, even with this whole baseball thing. But if you don't mind me asking, what type of stuff happened there?
So
back then?
I think. So I'll start from the beginning actually. So when I was from like preschool until like the end of year 4, I was like a nervous wreck. Like I couldn't leave the house without like fucking losing my mind. I don't know what it was. It was just separation anxiety. Like I just couldn't leave the house without like losing my mind over it.
Shit.
I don't know what happened, but basically as soon as year 5 hit, just something switched, and it was just
you were calm.
Yeah, but it was like to the point where, especially like preschool, I don't think was too bad, but like the start of kindergarten was like where it really fucking kicked off.
Yeah, and
like I would make myself sick from like being so hysterical. Like shit. I was a nervous wreck for 5 years.
Shit, yeah.
And like I'm surprised I'm not saying I'm particularly intelligent, but I'm surprised I'm as intelligent as I am, knowing how much school I missed at a very young age because I just couldn't fucking.
Oh, did you actually miss like all school?
Fucking shitload of it. Like the first, like the thing was right. It's like like I would go to school, but then, you know, like it was a normal 9 till 3 public school, right? But I'd get there at, you know, 5 to 9, and then by 9:30 I'd be at home, you know? Okay. Like I'd show up, but then by the time I just hated not being in an atmosphere where I didn't know where I was, sort of thing.
Shit.
So school was a nightmare for me, like at a young age.
Yeah.
And then so I was at the school with like Jesse and Riley and stuff and like Kobe Owen and stuff.
Yeah.
I was with their school from kindy to the end of year 2.
Yeah.
And then unbeknownst to me, I was moving schools at the start of year 3.
Yeah.
And I was actually starting sort of the middle of year 2, I was starting to get my act together, right?
Yeah.
And then basically like 3 weeks before I was supposed to go back to school, Mum was like, "Oh, you're moving schools, by the way."
Yeah.
And
oh wow.
and I was like, you're not fucking kidding me,
you
mate.
can't do that to me right now. Yeah.
And so I've gone to this new school, which is the school that I stayed for however many years, 6 years, and basically nearly all of year 3 and the majority of year 4 was just awful. I'd make myself sick every day.
Shit.
Because I was so hysterical. I was like it was to the point where I would put just massive display shelves and stuff in front of my door so no one could open the door.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like it was really bad.
Oh, what the fuck? I didn't know about that.
But I don't know what it was. It was like the last week of year 4 or something, or maybe the start of year 5, and something just flipped a switch, and I was completely fine from then on.
Okay.
I seriously, like, it was literally an overnight thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, I went to like separation anxiety therapy and shit, and that didn't do anything for me. Like,
oh, it didn't help out.
No, and I was so young. Like,
like
nothing that they were doing were actually.
Yeah, it didn't click for you.
No.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was. It was just something clicked to my head, and I was basically fine from then on. And then, so that was sort of my thing. And then when I started at our school, it probably took me 2 or 3 weeks to. I think, like anyone though, it takes some time to sort of get into the hang of things at a new school. But it's not like I was, you know, losing my mind over it. But that for me as a kid was like the big ticket item for me, was that I was so scared. Like, if it was like a Saturday or Sunday and I was going out to, I don't know, the city or something, couldn't give a shit. Like right? As soon as it hit school or anything, I lost my mind.
That's crazy.
School, anything to do with school, athletics carnivals, swimming carnivals, any of that, just places I'm not familiar with a fuck ton of people. I just couldn't do it.
Oh.
But then, so that was sort of towards a younger age, and then sort of.
You were rumbling,
And then, sort of from when I moved to Hills to sort of like year 11 or something, I lost a few friends through either suicide or car accidents or fucking whatever else.
Shit. Yeah.
And that, especially the one with the car accident, I was like, that was, I think, the first time I was really, like I said before, like really thankful for what I had. It's like, that could have happened to me, you know?
Wow.
So I was like, this was a mate that I knew from my old school for 8 years.
Wow.
And he was a year older than me, so he was on his L's. But stupidly to him, he was driving with. He was a very good driver. Like he'd done his 120 hours in the first 3 months or something. Like he was competent enough to drive by himself. Legally, I know it's not allowed, but if he had to rush someone to the hospital in a car by himself, he'd be able to do it. You know. But for whatever reason, he just. I think it was the day before he got his P's. He just wanted to sort of see what driving was like, by himself. I'm like, well, you could have just waited till the day after when it was actually legal. But anyway, and then he ended up wrapping himself around a tree. So, and then died at the scene. So, yeah, that was for me when I was like the first time I was like every day is like something can happen. Every single day something can happen, right? And you've really got no control over it.
Yeah.
Like you can hide yourself away for the rest of your life if you want, but you're not really living a life at that point. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, he. That was probably my first big sort of. My first sort of big experience emotionally when it came to like loss and stuff, but it was, you know, it wasn't like it was a, you know, it's not like it was a family member, and you know, I knew him very well and he was a very good mate, but I sort of, for me it was more being a bit selfish here, but it helped me knowing that he was doing the wrong thing when it happened. Because it's like, I wouldn't do that. So it's like, you know, obviously a car accident can happen to anyone. Right? But it obviously heightens your risk when you're doing the wrong thing. And it not necessarily gave me comfort, but in my own sort of, in my own sense of self, I was like, all right, well, he's done this, and this was the consequence he suffered, right? I just don't do that. It's as simple as that, right? I'm not even kidding. I've probably got 3,000 or 4,000 hours of driving experience. I haven't even been close to a car accident because I just don't drive like that. I don't. He was turning around in his little whatever the fuck he was driving on his L's with no one else in the car. Like, it's his fault that he did that to himself. But you know, you can't help the fact that he's killed himself. Like, not intentionally.
Obviously not,
but that was sort of my first big sort of time with a loss. And then I had a mate from baseball, his brother, who technically I was probably closer to his brother than the baseball player. He killed himself. I don't know why. That's the thing. It's like, unless they leave you a letter, like you will actually never know why. Cause unless it's like obvious that, you know, they're at that state, but a lot of people aren't. This is the thing. It's like, you don't know when this shit's happening.
Nice.
So,
bro, you've been through a lot.
Well, but that's the thing. I'm not trying to say I'm a victim or anything. I'm just saying, like, like I saw this TikTok the other day. Huh?
No, of course not. Yeah, victim.
It was. I saw this TikTok the other day, and it was like, if I tell you my story, it's not because I want sympathy or pity. It's just so I want you to know what's happened. You know, I hate when, you know, I tell people a story about what you know, what's happened, and they think that I'm wanting sympathy or whatever. I don't want sympathy at all. I just want you to know what's happened. So if something comes up that is affecting, you know that I will most probably have a reaction to it instead of, you know, because I've been through it. I'm not saying, you know, I want sympathy. I want, you know, I don't. And it's like when I came back. No, I'll come to that later. But like when I had people go out, and people were like, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss," which is the normal thing to do. I get that. I just didn't want that shit because it's like, I've already got to think about it. I don't want to have fucking 30 people saying, "Oh yeah, sorry for your loss," and reminding me every 2 seconds. Right? And I know it's the normal human response to be like, "I'm sorry for your loss," or whatever.
I guess
But at that time, it was like, I just don't need it. Like, I get that you're trying to be nice and whatever. But it's just not helping. I think unless like, for someone who hasn't gone through a loss before, they wouldn't know that, you know. So
that's true. You're right.
But I think that's especially for the way I sort of brought myself up. I was very sort of closed off with emotions and feelings and all that sort of shit. Because I felt like, because I was such a shy little, like, temper tantrum thing, like, every day for 5 years as a kid, I had genuinely thought that I had cried every tear that was possible for me ever, right? And because it's like when my mate died in the car accident, I didn't cry, or, well, I was upset, but I was showing no emotion, right? And I think that was just because I sort of brought up just to not do it, just let it go, just move on, sort of thing. And obviously it's easier said than done, you know?
100%,
so that was sort of, those two were like my first times as, you know, losing someone. And then February last year, I lost my dad to a heart attack. He was 71 at the time, so he was getting on. Like, he was 54 when he had me, so he like, we always said that he was a blessing to still be alive because on my 4th birthday he had a mini heart attack.
Shit.
Like, mini, like it wasn't like catastrophic, but
still something. Yeah.
But something like we knew that he had respiratory and heart problems. Like it wasn't a secret. Because he was an avid smoker, like for 30, 40 years. He was having like 3 or 4 packs a day.
Shit,
so that will obviously fuck you up big time.
Yeah, that's something to
And then so I remember how that all went along as well. It was a Tuesday. We had we had TSP in the afternoon, but I was in the process of dropping it. So this was February. So I was just in the process of dropping it so I could have the double 2 at the end free.
Yeah.
And I said to my mum, I can't be bothered going to TSP today. Can you write me a note saying to come home at lunch, right? And she's like, yeah, no worries. And then I get one of those blue slip note things saying come home at 11. I'm like, 11? That's early. And then my mum's partner at the time picked me up from school, which was the first time that had ever happened. So I'm like, something's going on.
Yeah.
And then I get home, and to me, it's like any other day, right? Because my mum and dad were divorced.
Okay.
But I still I arguably saw my dad more than I saw my mum, but I was living with my mum.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, it was
so,
like that. Yeah.
Like I saw my dad every day.
Yeah.
My dad would, like, this is the thing. My mum and dad, I'm so thankful for this because I know a lot of people don't go through it.
Yeah.
They divorced when I was, I think, 3.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a divorce relationship they had. It was like they were still married, just living in separate houses. Like it was so
different.
Like mum, when he passed, mum was saying like he will be, he is, always has been and always will be the love of my life. That's it, right?
Wow.
And whether marriage worked or not, they both still felt the exact same way.
Oh,
right.
Wow,
It's just that marriage just didn't work. For them, it just didn't work.
Oh,
right?
that's different, yeah.
But like I know some people that either never see their mum or never see their dad, and they grow up with no figure. I had both just as prevalent as anyone that has a happily married household. You know.
100%, yeah.
Oh
wow.
So for me, I was very thankful that happened because obviously, you know, I think for me personally, I had to have a male role model just because of the way I thought as a person. Yeah. I am a very sort of masculine sort of bloke. Yeah. So if I was just hanging around like my mum all the time, I'd be like, my brain just isn't switching on for all this shit. You know? So that's why it was so good to have Dad around as much as he was. Like he'd pick me up from school every day. He'd take me to baseball. He'd take me to soccer. He'd do all this shit, right? And he only lived 2 streets down the road.
Oh wow!
So it was perfect.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, so my mum's partner at the time had picked me up from school. My dad texted me like 2 days prior saying he wasn't feeling great, but it wasn't anything
crazy
proper. Because I was supposed to go to his place, so that was on the Sunday. I was supposed to go to his place to watch the NRL with him. Because that was our thing. Saturdays and Sundays, I'd go to his place and watch the football.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so I knew something was wrong because even when he's normally sick, I'd normally still go over, right? So this time he's like, "Don't come over." So I knew something was up.
Shit.
Like I didn't know what it was, but I knew he was like sick. But then I didn't hear anything from him on the Monday. So and then my grandfather picked me up on the Monday, and then I didn't hear anything on the Tuesday, and then the Tuesday was TSP, so I came home early and my mum's partner at the time picked me up, took me home, everything seemed to be relatively normal, other than the fact that he picked me up and took me home. And then Mum comes into my room like bawling her eyes out, saying that Dad's passed. And I'm like, because my grandfather and my mum went to his place like on the way home from dropping me off at school. And so they just dropped me off, and they're on the way home, and they've gone to Dad's place just to sort of make sure that everything's all right. There was no response to the door, and both front and back doors were locked, so they had to get the fire brigade to break the door in. And then they found him dead on the couch. So,
yeah, it's fine.
So I think for me, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it was going to be that soon, right? Like he wasn't well. I know that. He'd been struggling with emphysema, which is a lung condition because of smoking, for 20 odd years. But like, because we're all going to die at some stage, right? Might be 10 years, might be 5 minutes, might be 100 years, you know. But I knew he was going at some stage. I just didn't think it was going to be that quick. And so, he had a heart attack in his sleep, which is the best way to go. Like, if you're going to die, you're going to die in your sleep. I would much rather die in my sleep than get, point blanked in the head when you're awake, that sort of thing. But so that was that, and obviously, as you could probably tell, the aftermath of that was...
Yeah, because obviously at the time you were still in school, what, year 12, final year, and how you mentioned before, you weren't present as much in that time. And that's what happened now.
So the Tuesday, the 22nd of February was when he passed. I didn't come back until the 4th of April. So about a month and a half.
Yeah, because I remember you weren't missing, and I didn't know why.
And then...
Because, sorry to cut you off, but there's a lot of people out there, like, I don't know what's your views on this, but there's a lot of people out there, like, when something does happen, they straight away go, on social media, all that, and they'd be like, oh, this happened, that happened. But with you, for me, what I saw with you, you didn't do that. Like, obviously you were doing you, and like you were trying to be with your family at the time, which I respect a lot.
The day it happened, I put something up on Instagram just saying, it's a whole fucking paragraph, but basically just like,
I think that's what I remember. Like,
this is what I didn't go, like, I didn't do over the top. I was basically just letting everyone know this has happened. Let me do my own thing.
Now now I need to tell you right. No, what I mean is like that is calm, but there's a lot of people out there like they think their first priority
is just straight away.
That's my kind of message, is that
they're using it as some sort of publicity stunt sort of thing.
It's like that, but what I hate is that you're going through something at the moment and you think the first thing to do is to do this now. Like, come on now, bro. Like, you have to take care of yourself at first. And but what you do was smart, because when you did that, I didn't hear from you for a very long time. Exactly. So
because it was about a month and a half from the 22nd to the 4th of April. It's about a month and a half, and so, and that was a lot of the time. That wasn't actually the grief of it. It was because he was renting at the time, and we had to get all of his shit out of the house.
Okay.
So I had a very very delayed grieving process, because I had so much adrenaline. I just found out he'd passed. Then the day after, I've now had to start putting all of his stuff into our place, which in itself was an emotional thing. Seeing all old photos and shit like that. But then, so that was that, and then I won't go into the details, but we then had a legal dispute over his over his possessions and money and all that sort of shit, which was the biggest. it was the most stupidest fucking thing ever. Like, seriously, it was. But that also stunted the whole grieving process for me. Like, this whole legal proceeding went until my birthday that year.
What was it?
December.
I swear.
So it was a 10-month process.
Shit, for that, yeah.
For it, like, I can say it on here. It's not like we're fighting for hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, he wasn't rich or anything.
Yeah.
Like, what are we fighting about?
Yeah.
The thing I learnt the most about this, because this is the first time that a family member's been involved, is death brings the best and worst out of people.
Yeah.
Death either brings the best out of people and they do what is supposed to be done by the person who's died. They look after the funeral and everything. Or you get the bad side of things and people come wanting money or, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And I've seen it firsthand.
And experienced that. Wow.
I'm like, you can go get fucked if you
Yeah.
think that I'm worrying about the money right now. You know? Like, let's be fucking real.
Yeah.
Your dad's just died and you're worrying about money. Go fuck yourself.
Fuck, man.
I hope they see this, by the way.
Oh,
I pray to God they see this. Anyway.
So whoever's seen it,
you know who you are.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
But I might even send it to him. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was. So realistically, for the first, basically until probably October last year, so a good 7 or 8 months after the fact, was when I actually started to settle down and just actually process what's actually happened.
Wow, so that's when you started like going through it.
So, and then obviously my 18th birthday comes around and his whole thing was he wants to buy me my first beer on my 18th, which he wasn't able to do. And so, there's all these sort of things, and then obviously you were at my 18th and you saw that I got a bit emotional when photos and stuff came up.
No, but as you should be. You can't, all this like hiding emotions, like, if you have to, you have to.
And it didn't help that I had some piss in me as well. Like, let's be fair. I had quite a bit of alcohol that day, so that sort of helped. But no, it was a type of thing that I was like, it just, for me, like, shit happens, like we're all gonna die at some stage, and that's what I boiled it down to. I'm like, he was done then, I'm gonna be done in 60, 70 years down the track, whatever it is. It's unfortunate that that's when it was, because I was like, fuck, if it was 6 months later, I wouldn't have had to worry about missing school, I wouldn't have had to worry about my ATAR being low, I wouldn't have to worry about any of that. Whereas the time he did, I had to worry about all that stuff on top of the whole grieving process.
At the same time, as you mentioned before, it's something that we cannot control, even you.
So you just got to roll with the punches, I guess, and
100%.
But like, even still, I'm still not. Well, I have processed it now. It's been nearly 2 years. It sort of.
Wow.
But. Which is crazy to say. The fact
that you said that,
Is it 2 years? Yeah, nearly 2 years. Which is crazy to think of. Like, for me, it's been the quickest but the longest 2 years ever.
Yeah.
Because it's gone quick, because it's like we were at school over a year ago. To me, that doesn't seem right. But yeah, I think my biggest thing was not letting my emotions get in the way of
everything else,
getting shit done.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what I'm trying to relay the message not to do, because it's just delayed the whole grieving process for me. Like, I'm still going through it, not as much as it was, because I don't think you never actually truly get over it. You just learn to deal with it.
And
I think I'm I'm at the point now where I'm learning to deal with it, and it's for someone who hasn't lost someone, it probably is like, oh, it's 2 years, like get over it. But until you lose someone of that nature, like you lose a parent, you lose a a sibling, whoever, you don't truly understand how mentally challenging it is until it actually happens.
100%.
And God forbid it happens to someone who's watching or whatever. But you know, it's a shock to the system.
Of course.
But yeah, I think for me, not necessarily. I think my biggest message is, you know, it's the whole cliche bullshit, but it's like, it's okay to be not okay, you know? Like, for me, if I was upset about Dad or whoever else, I'd just completely switch off from everyone, right? Whether it was my mum, my grandparents, my friends, whatever. And it came to a point where some of the boys were like, they obviously knew what was going on, but it was unusual for me to just not talk to them for like, you know, I was going a month or two without saying anything to anyone. So, and they were getting like really fucking concerned. They were like, you know,
of course,
But I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's like, you know, like there's this quote which I learnt towards the start of this whole process, and when I was at my lowest with this whole thing, it sort of became very prominent. It was a broken man has the power. A man has the power. No, what is it? A man in pain has the power to destroy everything and everyone around him, yet he decides to destroy himself.
Wow.
And I think that to me was where I was like, that is a complete representation of how I feel. It's like, I don't want to put my shit on anyone else. I'd rather just do it by myself and get through it by myself and come out the other side. And you know, like I went to counselling for what was it, 6 months. Didn't do anything for me. Like I was talking to someone I didn't know. Didn't have a connection with the issue because I hadn't experienced it before. So they did like.
It was hard,
And I'm like, it's just like I'd rather talk to myself in the mirror. I'd probably get more out of it than talking to someone that doesn't understand what the fuck's going on. But I think that quote for me was like, that's dead true, and it's
like a realistic.
And like that was probably the most hard-hitting quote that was relatable to me that I'd probably ever heard. Because I was like, fuck, this is exactly true. It's like, why would I put my shit onto anyone else and then make them feel bad when I can just do it myself? Which, in hindsight, looking back to it, for me personally, worked out because I had the mentality of, I woke up one day and I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, he's not here anymore, I get that. But why would I, like, if he was looking me in the face right now, would he be happy that I'm grieving or would he want me to keep on going, you know? And that was when I sort of just started switching back on. And then that's when I started to come back to school. It might have been 1 or 2 days a week. Like, it wouldn't have been the whole week, but I was starting to gradually come back. And then there were some times where I'd be there, you know, 3-4 days a week, but I'd leave early because something had happened, and you know. But that day was the day that I was like, there's no point in just fucking complaining anymore. Like, it's happened. It's time to move on. And it's like, if he was sitting right there, would he want me to be like this, or would he want me to move on and continue on with my life? And that's where I was like, I've got to start getting my shit in order.
That's very true.
And I think that's what a lot of, especially blokes nowadays, but people in general, it's like, you know, you lose a loved one and then some people kill themselves for it. And I'm like, oh, fucking come on now. It's like, you know, it happens for a reason. I'm not a massive religious person, but I do think that things happen for a reason. I don't know why, but it happens.
Yeah.
And you just gotta, that's life. You just gotta roll with the punches and just, keep on moving. And I think with, especially guys in sort of today's society, is like you can't show any emotion. It's just what it is. You've just got to fucking stay strong. Like, for example, if I was to be emotional in front of, I don't know, like a chick, for example, right?
Yeah, she'll view you differently.
Yeah, they'd completely switch off straight away because not knowing the reason behind me being emotional, but just a bloke being emotional just to them makes them switch off.
That is true, and obviously there are already discussions about this, like conversation about this this topic, where like girls say no, of course not,
it's
like
bullshit.
But of course, like you do view them differently.
Well, I think it is a trait that men and women have had since we've been a thing. It's like the men are supposed to be the masculine, like hunters, and the women are supposed to be the more feminine, nurturing sort of people, right? So when you see a bloke break down crying, you're like, well, what the fuck's going on here, you know?
But yeah, man. No, but what I do want to say is that like how you did mention before, like when it did happen, your father passing, you have an amazing family, you know. I did see them at the 18th birthday. Your mom is amazing, and I feel like she of course, how you said, like nurtured you, gave you that support and always, like make you feel special. And even with me, like when I was with you, when you did come back to school last year, there was times where you did open up to me, and of course it means a lot, you know what I'm saying? With me, it did mean, and of course, I'm always here, and you don't want to always hear it, but of course, I am sorry about the loss, but I'm always here, you know what I'm saying? For real, bro. Like you have an amazing friend group as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that got me through it was the fact that I didn't necessarily use it, but knowing that I had a good support base, right? Whether I used it or not is my own fault. But knowing that I had access, which I think
it's an amazing feeling for you personally.
Which I think a lot of people either don't have or don't realize they have. Is that they think, like for example, with me, I was very, very closed off to my family when it first happened because they were a wreck. Everyone was distraught, right? Yeah. So I thought that, like, I didn't cry at Dad's funeral, which is weird to say, but it's true because everyone else was bawling their eyes out, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be, me crying would just make everyone else even more upset. So I'm like, no, I'll just. As soon as I got home, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I just, I fell apart afterwards when I was in my own room, just But I'm not gonna do it in public and make everyone else feel shit. It's just, but that's the thing. It's like now but that's my thought of my train of thought. But it's like my whole message is to not do that. There are either counsellors, friends, family, whatever, to talk to about whatever you're going through, whether it's a loss or you're just depressed or whatever it is, and I think that's what people underestimate is you think that talking to someone wouldn't help, but like you say these things in your head over and over and over again, and it just stays in there. As soon as you say it to someone, all that fucking stress and relief is just off your shoulder.
Like exactly how you mentioned, like with you going to counseling, like and therapy, it didn't for you personally, it didn't make an impact. Man, there's so many inconveniences, man. I'm so sorry. But you mentioned that your mom referred you to.
Yeah, so she referred me to this counsellor, like literally the closest one to me, and I think it just, like I said before, it didn't really help, but that was because there was just not a lot in common with the counsellor. Like, it was a woman, which is fine, I don't care about that, but I feel like I relate more and can speak more freely to blokes, which I think is just, to me is just,
exactly.
Like all the boys, I'm more than happy to speak to them, but as soon as it comes to a chick, I don't talk to her about shit.
It's different, yeah.
And then she was a different, like, cultural background, so we didn't have that in common. And then she hadn't experienced anything of what I had gone through, so it was that as well. And I'm like, I don't, like, for me, I didn't think, which is probably bad to say, but I didn't think she had the experience, for a lack of a better word, to help me with my situation.
That's not even a bad thing to say. That's legit how it is though, because you need someone that relates to, or either relates to you, or like you have to have a connection with them. So and for you to not have it, obviously you can't. Yeah.
So for me, it was like, looking back on it now, I would have rather travel an hour or whatever to find the right person. Because I think that's something for people to really think about. Is like, there's convenience and then there's effectiveness. Yeah. You do convenience, you go to the top of the street, there's a counsellor and you get nothing out of it. Or you get effectiveness, you travel an hour, you find the right person and...
Yeah. No, that's very true though, I can't lie, you said that well.
But, it's how it is. Like, looking back on it now, I would have continued with the counselling if I had gone to someone that I actually had somewhat of a connection to. But I just didn't with this one counsellor, so I'm like, I just do it on my own. It's fine by me. And look, my whole thing is, I can go through stuff like this, whether it's the anxiety as a kid, or friends passing, or my dad passing, and I'm still able to come out the other side, which I think is the biggest thing. For especially nowadays, you see people killing themselves left, right, and centre, or nowadays. Like, every third person has depression or whatever. I'm like, that's fine if you have it, but don't go on killing yourself, because I'm a prime example. I'm not saying my life's shit by any means, but I'm able to go through these sort of things and come out the other side pretty unscathed. Like, there is still some emotional damage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But who wouldn't have emotional damage when that happens? But I'm able to now move on, and like, I'm moving to Bathurst this week, right?
Yeah. Wow.
This to me and to my family is a brand new start.
Wow, yeah.
Right? New place, new house, new people, new everything. Yeah. Just start fresh. Yeah. And I think for me that's I've wanted to move for a while. Yeah. Probably, so he passed in the February, probably in the June or July, I wanted to move. Because I'm like, I'm just sick of Sydney. I don't like to begin with. It's just too fast paced. The traffic's stupid. It's just right. But I'm like, fuck. I want to move, but I don't know where I want to move to. And then Bathurst came in the conversation. I'm like, I like that idea. And so we had a look and we found this place and we bought it now and we're moving on Thursday, which will already be in by the time
this comes out. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. But yeah, for me, my biggest thing is I just wanted this to be just a brand new start. Just, you go through stuff like this and you come out the other side, but then to stay in the same environment, it's like with addiction, right? For example, alcohol or drug addiction, right? You're addicted to drugs, for example, and then let's say alcohol because it's easier. You're addicted to alcohol, you go into rehab and you're clean, right? You come back to the outside world and then all your mates and stuff are going to the pub and whatever, which is all about alcohol. And if you're still around that crowd, subconsciously you're just going to want to go back to it, right? So for me, if I
It's like
I don't want to have to drive past the same places that Dad and I drove past, you know?
Yeah.
So I just want a brand new start. And if that means I have to go to Bathurst, then it means I have to go to Bathurst.
Yeah.
But
No,
I think that's the sacrifice you have to pay to move on. For me, anyway. And I'm happy to do that because...
Exactly, yeah, that's respectful. Yeah.
I can't keep just living under this one bubble.
Yeah.
I need to fucking break out of it and move on.
Wow, yeah.
And moving is that for me. So...
Wow, man. Nah, man, that's honestly, bro. It's inspiring though, like, especially how you said, like, yeah, you're able to move on. It's of course, hopefully it touches, you know, some people out there.
I'd love to be able to, like, I don't want to go to being like Mr. Motivational or anything. That's not what I want. But just for people either who sees this or even like, you know, I've had a few people on my own personal like channel and stuff that, you know, because I'm pretty open on my channel about everything I've gone through, and there was this one kid, he's 16 and he's just lost his mum to cancer, and he was like, and he's at like the beginning of it, like this was only 2 weeks ago, right? So he was like, knowing that you've been able to go through basically the same sort of thing and come out the other side gives me hope.
Wow.
Right? So...
It must hit you, yeah?
Well, knowing that I'm on YouTube, I'm not a big creator obviously, but knowing I'm in the public eye and being able to do that with people, it's
amazing, yeah.
And, you know, like I said, I don't want to become Mr. Motivational and do all this shit, but if I can help someone who's going through the same thing as me or the same sort of thing or, you know, whatever, and they're just in the shit, if I can help them by relaying my story, then I'm more than happy to do that. Because I want to be the person, I want to be the help and advice that I didn't get. I think I think that's the thing for me. It's like, I was very locked away. I didn't have much help or advice with that sort of stuff. So now that I'm on the other side of it, I want to be that source of advice and reasoning for people who are going through the same sort of thing. Because I know what it's like. I've been through it. Exactly. I'm not saying I want to become a fucking counsellor or a psychologist or anything, but, you know, we're all human. We relate to things. So if that means that, you know, if I'm relating to you because, you know, a parent passed or a friend passed or whoever, then there you go. And I'll continue to tell my story to whoever wants it.
I feel good. I appreciate you for sharing that story, man. But before I do end this episode with you, I'll make this short and quick.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you, this is something that I am incorporating into every single episode towards the end. And it's basically asking each of my guests, what's something that pushes you? What's that message that has changed your perspective on life? It can either be a message, a quote, an action, whatever it may be. What's something that's truly shifted you or meant the most to you that you would like to share with me?
I think, especially at the moment, we're living in a pretty fucked up world, right? With all the wars and everything going on. So I think just sort of like it isn't hard to be nice. It just isn't. You know, it isn't hard to say hello to someone in the morning. It's not hard to just be a good person. You know. Yeah. So for me, you know, I've had my time where I have been a prick, and that's my own fault. But now that I've sort of grown up and matured, I'm like, the world's a fucked place. It is. You know, you can think it's great, but it just isn't. Like you hear the news, it's awful. Some of the shit that goes on. So I think for me, it's like, it doesn't do anything to you to be nice. Like it doesn't reduce your life expectancy. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it is to be a good person, because it seems fucking hard for some people. But I'm like, I just don't get it. Like,
it's just hard for me. That's the jokes, bro. Yeah.
But it's true. It's like some people just don't know how to be a respectful person.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I think for me, it's just my biggest thing is just be yourself. I hate when people try to act a different way for people and try to impress them and shit. It's just not yourself. You're playing a character that will end up putting you on the shit sometime down the track, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, if you're a prick and you're being yourself, at least you're being yourself. You know?
That's amazing. Yeah.
But you know,
that's fair though. Yeah.
But I would rather be a prick but be myself than be some, you know, happy clapper.
Yeah.
And just be a complete character. Yeah. And then you're living a split personality life.
Yeah, but then your true self is
And then when you go home,
yeah,
you turn into this fucking grumpy little prick.
Yeah.
And then when you're out, you're like, I'm like, no. If you want to be a prick, be a prick. Be yourself. You know.
Be yourself.
That's my thing, and I think also another thing is, don't take things for granted. I've learned that, you know, whether it's school or you know, time spent with my dad or whatever, just once it goes, like, you don't know what you've lost until it's gone.
Wow, yeah, that's
so
true,
it's like, keep it for as long as you can, because as soon as it goes, you won't know what hit you.
I think that's something that I would live by as well, because even like those small hellos, how are you, you know, hugs, making that person feel special.
Or just brightens their day.
Exactly, bro. Yeah, exactly. And like, you never know what they're going through. You never know. Even for yourself, it might make you feel better. And bro, yeah, like it's all the little things, bro, like that.
Well, you just you don't know anyone's story. Like, you can always have a perception, but until you actually know what's going on in their life, you've got no idea. Yeah. So, you know, this is why being a prick to people, like on a consistent basis, is what drives people to kill themselves or have depression or whatever, because you don't know what they've got on in their lives, and if they're getting constant harassment by someone or different people or whatever, then you don't know that they've got everything going on in the background. Yeah. Then it's more than likely that can tip them over the edge. I don't know.
Exactly. You never know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just not hard to be nice.
So be nice is your message. I like that. It's nice and simple, but I haven't had that in the series so far.
Simplicity is key. Yeah. Like, just be nice. It
nice.
It can't be that hard. Like, it just can't be.
Yeah.
Like, we live in a world where wars and fucking terrorist attacks and everything's happening every day. So it's like, why make the world an even fucking worse place by just being pricks to everyone? Yeah. It's like, it's bad enough that we have to deal with all these wars and shit over in Palestine and Ukraine and everywhere else. So why do we have to make our world, not the world, just our world, a shit place by just being pricks to everyone?
Nah, man, I like that message, bro. I like that, man, and I like you personally, bro. Like, I felt like I had a great time on this episode, and I appreciate it again for you coming down.
I've loved it, bro. This thing's gonna pop off, I swear.
Oh fuck, man, that's love, bro. Hopefully it does. But if it doesn't, it doesn't, man. But yeah, man, I hope all of you guys enjoyed this episode with Matthew Ruff, man. Wow. Bro, but again, I appreciate you telling your story, coming down, telling your story, and not a lot of people, you know, are willing to do that, and I appreciate you.
And I think that's why me doing it is so important, because it tells people that it is okay to talk about it.
Wow, yeah.
You know, like, it's not a thing that people do, and you know, knowing that I've gone through it, and like I said, coming out the other side, I'm hoping that someone who has gone through the same thing, or even just, you know, if you're depressed or whatever, and you're in that sort of headspace, knowing that I've been able to come out the other side, hopefully that can sort of help you know,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people. So I don't know, but if it does, it does. If it doesn't, then I'm just doing nothing, I guess. But I'd rather try than not do anything at all. You know.
Nah, man, that's love, bro. Nah, but again, bro, it's been a great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, man. And yeah, man. Hopefully, I get you on soon. You know,
Yeah.
Whenever you come back to Sydney.
And next time it'll be more upbeat, and you know,
Yeah,
we'll actually talk about.
We'll talk about some nice discussions. Yeah. Nah, man, but
We'll make it a comedy special, not
comedy special. I like that. Soon, my brother. Man, I'm gonna do a little ending over here. It's my boy Ace, and yeah, it's your boy Matthew. I know we said ladies, man. But yeah, love, bro. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please, if you guys are still watching, bro, I honestly love you guys. That's actually like true love, bro. Because it's gonna be a pretty lengthy episode, but yeah, man. Fuck, amazing, bro. Can't lie, it's been amazing. But yeah, it's been your boy Ace.
And yeah, it's been me, Matt Ruff. Fucking oath.
Love.
All love, brother.
Love, brother. Thank you.